Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Got an update for you. The motor is out on the Buick GS, so I figured to show you what we did. First thing, it came out pretty easy. We had this thing pulled in, I don't know, under 2 hours, which to me, for shade treeing, that's pretty good, especially when we had to make a parts run. We had to go buy bolts, longer bolts there to mount this thing to the engine stand. So I think we did pretty good. So the motor's out. There's the shell, as you can see, is what you might expect. So we pulled the motor. We ran just your typical shop crane cherry picker, right? And then that plus this carb plate, right? And a chain and a hook. We pretty much pulled it. We kind of messed around with the different weight and balance, trying to find the center of gravity on the assembly with these 3 hooks. Transmission is heavier than you think with respect to the engine, especially if you don't drain all the fluids first. So that's probably the biggest takeaway I would get from this is before you pull this, and this may be common sense, I don't know, but we didn't think about it. Drop the transmission pan, or assuming the thing had a drain plug. We honestly didn't find it. But drop the transmission pan, drain all the fluid out. Otherwise, what you'll get is as you start to pull this thing, right, and the transmission will naturally want to dip down, and you'll even want it to dip down a little bit to try to kind of pull it out of that tunnel, right? All the fluid's gonna leak out of that tail shaft and make a mess. So we pretty much had staging. You can kind of see on my floor there, like, we did part of this thing, made a mess, moved the whole rig out of the way so that we could clean up, and then we made another mess elsewhere, and then we made another mess elsewhere. So this was a mess. This thing leaked transmission fluid and coolant everywhere. We thought we got most of the coolant out of the block, or out of the engine. I mean, we drained the radiator and everything, but we still got a lot of coolant out of the water pump snout, right, where the upper radiator hose connects. We still got a lot of coolant out of that. So you want to do this as clean as possible. I don't know, maybe, what would you do? Pull the block like freeze plugs or something like that to get more coolant out? I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments how you would avoid this to make sure, aside from just blowing the thing out, right? All the coolant passages with air or something, but it's okay. A little mess never hurt anybody, especially on, it's a shop floor. It's not a museum, right? So it's fine. We cleaned it up. Not a big deal. So there's the engine. One thing I did want to show y'all, we did kind of clean it up enough to excavate the numbers. For those that care, I'm going to get a good shot of these numbers. And actually here, light, if you guys can see all that. So those are the numbers. And the reason I show that to you is that we are looking at potentially selling this rig. Okay, so it would be this engine and probably the carb that came with it, which I showed in the previous video. It's an Edelbrock, we think 550, 600 CFM carburetor. If you out there in internet land are interested, shoot me a message, comment, shoot me a PM, something, right, on Facebook or on YouTube to get me in touch, and we can have a discussion to see if this is something we want to pursue. So you basically get the engine, right? It's a 350, mostly stock. I mean, certainly the long block is all stock factory, as far as I can tell, aside from the carb, right? But the intake and everything else, exhaust manifolds, does have looks like an Excel HEI distributor on it as an upgrade. At least when we pulled plugs on this thing, just to kind of look, it looks nice. It looks clean. It literally looks like this thing ran, got parked in the field, and that's it. Like, it was running great when it got parked, which is exactly what what happened, because this was my buddy's car before my dad bought it. So I think the shape of the motor is pretty good. So that's the engine. Show you the transmission here. Turbo 350 transmission, right? And And this, you know, we want to sell this along with it, either with it or, you know, separates, whatever, right? And we've got the torque converter and the flex, the flex plate that goes along with it too. But there's some numbers on that. I don't know if you can see them. And certainly, if any of y'all are interested in this stuff, let me know. We can get you better pictures, details, whatever you want. But main purpose of the video is that everything's out. The engine's out, the transmission's out. Now the next steps, aside from maybe trying to source a 455, is you know, clean up the firewall, getting all that kind of stripped, right? And then doing more to strip out the interior and the trunk and all that kind of stuff. So we're even talking eventually maybe doing kind of a frame off and actually pulling the body off the frame to really do a good restoration. So we'll see. But right now we made some good progress. And it was fun. For me personally, it's the first time I've ever pulled a motor. So that was a fun experience, just to, you know, see how it's done. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Just wanted to show you the progress. I will further comment on this Pittsburgh engine stand from Harbor Freight. Fabulous. I think for the money and the quality, I think it works great. So, so far, recommend. But that's all I got for you. Thank you again for watching. If you like this content, I know the channel's kind of diverse. I do homestead topics, I do the Buick GS, I do Warhammer, nerd stuff. So if you guys like the content, please like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel out. It helps me out and helps me to keep bringing you videos. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.